Hi everybody, Mike from RMT family here. I decided today it's finally time to install the roof rack on our Tesla Model 3. I had this roof rack for quite a while already, actually for almost a year. When I initially ordered this, or tried to order this, it was out of stock, sold out in like December of 2018. So finally early January of 2019 I was able to place an order. And as soon as I placed the order, the next day it was already showing sold out again. At the same time, they had some issues with some of the clips that they would break after installation, and so that's it. I didn't receive my rack for another like 8 weeks or 10 weeks, and so I was not able to install it, or it was not necessary to install it anymore, as we wanted to use it to put a ski rack on and then go skiing with it. So now we got a little snow. There's actually not much snow for this year. We have very little. We have an inch or two maybe. Usually at this time we would have 6-10 inches, somewhere in that area. This year we have very little, so we haven't installed the rack yet. But today I'm gonna go install the rack, and I'm gonna show you how that works, and then we'll probably make a second video and install the ski carrier on top of the rack. So I opened up the box, and in there we obviously got the two roof racks that go on. We got the manual that goes with it. There's caps that go on the side. These in there, these are plastic like stickers that need to go on the roof so it doesn't rub into the roof. And then we got a hardware bag here, and these little clips, these little hooky things, those were actually the problem that they had last year. Those clips would snap off after they were installed. So the ones I have here now, they're a new style, and those should not be a problem. So we will have to clean the roof in 4 areas. I will also have to measure exactly where those stickers go, and then we can put those stickers on and start with the installation of the actual racks. So I got a few 4 spots cleaned here on the roof. So somewhere in this area and in this area, that's where those racks are going. As you can see, the Model 3 has a glass roof, and so the windshield ends right there, and then here we got one of the roof panes that ends right here. And so we have to clean this area and this area, that on both sides. That's where those little plastic decals go. Same thing on this side, right in here and right in here. And I just used the glass cleaner that we had laying around somewhere here, so nothing special. The problem we have, it is super hot out. It's 37 degrees in January in Montana. I don't know if you can see, possibly there's water dripping off the roof. We're above freezing, very unusual. We should be in the low 20s or so today, but we're way higher than that, so I guess global warming is real. Anyway, 37 degrees is too cold for these little plastic decals to stick on here. So that's why I have the heat gun out, and I will heat these areas up before I put the little decals on. The decals are in the house right now, so they're warming up there. So I will preheat the areas here, then I will get the decals out, heat it again, and put them on in the right spot. All right, so I preheated that upper rail here with the heat gun. You could also use a hair dryer, I guess, Heat gun puts out a little more heat. And I got the stickers out of the house. And according to the manual, there is a arrow on the glass 18 millimeters from the front, and it is right in front of my finger there. Right there is that little arrow. It's in the glass, so that is one. And then from the back it is 42 millimeters from the back. It's right there. You can see this little thing. That's the other arrow in the back. Then the decals, same way, they got these arrows on them. And so all we need to do is, according to the position there, we need to line up those arrows and put them right on there, nice and smooth. Before I can do that, I will have to reheat a little more. I'm gonna stick the decal back inside my jacket so it can stay somewhat warm. And I just heat up some more again, since it cools off really quick. And then I will put those decals on. And since I gotta hold the camera for filming, I won't be able to film that, as I won't be able to hold the camera and put the decal on correctly at the same time. So I'll put that on and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I got the decal right here. I lined up the edge and I'm slowly working it down, trying to get all the air bubbles out underneath it. There we go. 1 of 4 is down, and you can see right there is the arrow in the glass aligning with the arrow on the decal. And the decals on here, they show you the position. So this arrow facing forward is the front of the car, and then so this dark dot right there shows that this decal goes right there. And so I will go on and put the other 3 of them on. All right, I got them all 4 on. So this was the first one we did, aligning nicely with the arrow there. This is the second one right here, and again there's arrow to arrow, nicely aligned. And then we got the other side. It is right here and lining up right there. Kind of hard to see that arrow on the glass, but they're right there. That's the last one, lining up with the arrow in the glass. I don't know if you can see it, pretty tough to see, but so they're all 4 on. And I just heated the area up and then put the decal on. And now I gotta take all the stuff off the glass roof here and move on to the next step in the instructions. They provide a little tool for the next step, which is this little black tool there, and we'll be using that to insert the clips. Okay, so I got my clips ready, and then there's this little installation tool, and up here this is the grippy part. The other part slides in, gotta get it in, not sure if you can see that, in between that gasket and the metal. It's a little tricky with as cold as it is here. That gasket does not really want to give real easy, but basically you're putting this in there and pulling the gasket back, then you lay the clip in, and here is the arrow. The arrow has to align with the center of the clip, and basically it's a little tricky. You gotta get the, there we go, the tool out and slide this all the way in. There's a pocket under there, so this won't go further back or forward. It grabs a metal pocket that's underneath the glass. And so you just make sure it is in that pocket, wiggle it a little bit, try to slide it forward and back to make sure you're all the way in there. And then basically that arrow should about align with the center of this clip. And you just got to do that 4 times, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I just noticed a problem. Not sure if I can show this, but so here we can see the gasket of the rear part of the window, and then there's no gasket here until right there. There's a little bit, and then it's gone to about here. Not sure that we can see that at all, but the gasket is underneath the glass. And I'm not sure how to put this clip in now because the gasket is folded under and it's probably inside the pocket. I'm not sure if I can get this out or what we need to do here. Alright, so where that gasket was folded in, I found the trick here. This is actually a 12-volt test light. It's actually a broken one, and it's got a nice point on it, and I was able to grab the gasket right there at the edge, and I can work it out from underneath it. Just go in and kind of grab it and slowly work that gasket out. So I'm going all the way here to where it was out, and then past that. There we go. And I'm just gonna work that out, and now I can put my clips in. Okay, we got all 4 clips in. There's one right there, the other one there, number 3 and number 4. Just make sure the center of the clip lines up with the arrow on your sticker there, or on the glass, since both arrows line up. And then now we gotta put those little spacer pads in. These are little rubber pads, and they're labeled on here. We got that same picture again as we had for the decals, and as you can see, there's an arrow pointing forward, and then there's like 3 little dot thingies, and then there's the one that looks different, so that indicates that is driver side front, which is right here. And we gotta slide those over just like that, and then we just go along and do all 4 of those. Slide those over the clips, get them, oops, all the way down. Go over to the other side. Same thing here. It's a little tough to do with one hand as I'm holding the camera with the other hand. And then one more time here. There we go, that one went easy. And now we got to get the bar over the top of it, the 2 bars actually. So I can't hold the camera and put the bars on, so I'll set the bars on there. They obviously have a similar pattern as this with a hole, and so the hole just needs to go through here. And I'll set the bars on, and I'll get the camera back. Okay, I got the crossbars on. I just started on this side and made sure I get it right over the bolt here, and softly set it down on the off side away from me. I did that with both bars. The wider bar goes in the front, The narrower bar goes in the back. They're clearly labeled on top here. Not sure if you can see that. There's a sticker with arrows facing forward, so can't go wrong. And you basically just set them down. You go over to the other side, make sure the other side also goes nicely over the bolt right there. Make sure they sit nice on the rubber pad, and then you get the nuts out of your accessory bag, and they go right on there, and you tighten them down. And I will do that and get back to you. Okay, there's one, there's two. It's kind of a little dark on this side here. We can hardly see anything. There's more light over here. Fortunately, the sun disappeared, and you see that white wall way back there. Actually, the mountain is no longer visible. Yeah, we got a storm coming in here. The wind has picked up quite a bit since I started this project, and it's gotten a little chillier. But hey, gotta finish it anyway. So these are the nuts. They go right on there, and you hand tighten those. And then I give you this little Allen head wrench here, which should fit up in there. And then you should be able to tighten those. They say to do this about 6 Newton meters, which that would require a torque wrench. But basically don't go super tight, because you may pull up on it and break the glass. So you definitely don't want to do that. So, and an easy way to test if it's tight enough is you grab the bar, and if there's no movement, then that is tight enough. Also, you want to align this little mark here with this mark right there, so that they can be locked. If you don't line those up, the manual says you cannot lock the bars in place, so then somebody could take them off real easy. So yeah, you just do that 4 times, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I have all 4 of those nuts tightened. Don't over tighten them. Basically, once you do hand tight, it's only a turn or 2 more. Don't use the long lever side of that Allen head. Just use it upright so the Allen head sticks up, and turn it up there. If you hear any crunching sounds, you're probably plenty. You don't want to damage the glass. All you're really looking for is that when you grab this bar, that it doesn't move. And 5 to 6 Newton meter, what they say, is very little torque. Okay, so it doesn't take much. I'd rather go a little on the lower side than too much. If you go too much, you may break the glass. If you go a little lower and you grab the bar and it moves, then you can tighten it a little more. But if it don't move, then it's definitely fine. And again, make sure to line up this little notch with that notch, so that you then can lock this just like that. Same thing back here. So now they're locked in place. Then we can put the covers on. They got little hooks that go into these bottom notches right there. That's how you start. If I can do this with one hand, there we go. And then it just pops in the top. Same thing back here. Bottom notches and top. I hit the top there real quick, and that is it. And I already removed the stickers that were on the top of the bars. And so just make sure you keep your Allen head wrench and your little gasket pulling tool, so that you can take the rack off and put it back on as you need to. Some of you may drive with it all year long. Some of you may just want to remove it and use it in the winter time for skiing, or in the summertime for a kayak or bicycles, or whatever you do. That's totally up to you. But yeah, it's overall a pretty easy install. I didn't really have any difficulties. The manual explains it pretty well. No big deal. It has some pictures as well. Just take your time and get her on there nice and smooth, no rush, so you don't do any damage anywhere. And most important part is do not over tighten those nuts. So here's a view from the inside. You can see the front bar right up there, and then the rear bar, it's not even really visible. It looks like it's right above the crossbar that's inside, so you can not even really see that from the inside at all, at least not from the front seat. I'm gonna go here to the back seat real quick, see if we can see it from back seat. And now as we're looking up, it's not visible from the back seat at all. So the rear bar actually just lines up with the interior cross member, and you can't see it at all. You can just see the front bar up there. I'm sure it will make some additional wind noise, as everything does that you put on the roof, but heck, they look pretty good. Let me know if you installed one of those roof racks, or if you installed another one. Maybe if you used one with suction cups. Would be interesting to know what you're transporting with it. If you're putting skis up there, bicycles, a box, or whatever you're doing, leave a comment down below.